Okay, so what are the top 5 books I've ever read that has completely changed the results of my sales that aren't sales books? Hey there, my friends. Dan Deegan here again. I wanted to share because I fully believe in education, in training, in reading, and I love reading. You know what? I've always found that reading is like 2-3 years of somebody's knowledge, strategies, and successes wrapped into a couple of 100 pages that you can get done in a weekend. So what I've done is I've chosen the top 5 books that have really changed my perspective, changed the way I sold, and given me different strategies that aren't actually sales books. And you're going to see that real quick. So what I wanted to do, and the reason I wanted to do this is because so many people just go to sales books, right? Oh, if I get this sales book, I'm going to learn new strategies. But it's perspective that drives everything. When our perspective changes, when we as individuals get to see things with a new lens, which we'll talk about in some of these books, it changes everything. So the first book that I want to talk about is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, Viktor Frankl was in an Auschwitz camp. And what, in essence, this book does is it teaches you all about perspective. And regardless of what's happening in your world, you can change your perspective. And one of my favorite things in this book is this: that you cannot avoid suffering, but we can choose how to cope with it. So the reason I say that from a book perspective in sales is we deal with rejection all day long. How we cope with it determines what we do next, right? And think of it like this. If you ever had a conversation with a prospect and it was really going well, and then all of a sudden you have a day where things don't go so well, right? How do you cope with those, not losses, but how do you cope with that friction in the afternoon? Well, typically we find something else because as humans, we don't want to keep going through this rejection. So the Man's Search for Meaning, if you're looking for a book to make you go, that's a different perspective. He goes on in the book and talks about how the SS would crush, if you got out of line, they'd crush you physically. They'd crush you, they'd try and take away everything. He goes, but they couldn't take away my spirit. And that's really the essence of the book is regardless of what we go through in life, it's our spirit that matters. So that's number 1. Number 2, the second book is Seth Godin's All Marketers Tell Stories. Now, I love this book because one of the big things is as we transition into this new world of sales, it's actually marketing. And the better we market ourselves, and you don't have to go any further than Apple. Apple doesn't need to sell. They just market. And when you take that lens, if you will, and this is where we get into a little bit of the lens and the distortion of lenses, when we go in to sell a prospect on something, it might be a matter of we don't have the same lens, right? So Seth goes in this book when he says, right, the explanation of variety lies in the worldview all consumers carry around. It turns out that we don't all want the same things, right? How many times do we think our traffic manager wants the same thing as we want to give them or let our last customer want? We don't. Each person has a different set of biases and values and assumptions, and those worldviews are influenced by their parents, their schools, the places they live, and the experience they've had to date. Their worldview is the lens they use to determine whether or not they're going to believe a story, the story you tell them, okay? As the great Red Maxwell said, lenses distort things. The lens your customers use shows them a different version of reality than it shows you, your colleagues, or your other customers. Powerful when it comes to marketing yourself, right? So how does that lens amplify the benefits you're trying to share with them, the message you're trying to share with them, how you follow up and all that? This book teaches you all about that lens and gives you a different perspective, all right? Book number 3, actually I should probably go this way. Book number 3 is The Motivation Manifesto by Brendon Burchard. This is probably my all-time favorite book. You can probably tell just by all of the different markings on it. So in this book, I actually sent it off to him to get autographed for me because that's how much I love the book. This book is the ultimate book for me anyways. My favorite quote from this book is you must be bold, fierce, and unrelenting in chasing your dreams. And there's so many in here I can do. For starters, the book kicks off There comes a time in the lives of those destined for greatness when we must stand before the mirror of meaning and ask, why have been endowed with such a courageous heart of a lion do we live like mice? I mean, that's literally the first line in the book. I mean, unreal. If you're looking for a book to really give you that declaration of personal power, which it is, it's 9 declarations of personal power, to really bring out your own, this is the book that you should read always consistently. Once you finish it, start it again, finish it, start it again. Awesome book. Awesome book. And that's really to build that inner motivation for us as sales reps is so key, right? I mean, if we don't build that inner motivation, like we just lose. We tend to just kind of, we're okay for 1 week and then something happens and we allow all these other things to distort, right? This book talks about your schedule, it's just awesome. If you really want to take control of your personal power, that's the book to read. The next book is Simon Sinek, Start With Why. This one gave me unreal insights on how to start the conversation, lead with why. Why do you do what you do, right? Like, why is it that, and I've often asked students this all the time, like, why do we choose a career where we get rejected 98% of the time? Why do we do it as salespeople, right? So starting with this why is critical. And here's one of my favorite quotes in this. Fortunately, there's more evidence that sales don't significantly increase and bonds of loyalty are not formed simply when companies do or say everything their customers want, right? Henry Ford summed it up best. If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Like, when you think about that for a second, right? Sometimes what our customers want isn't really what's going to be the best for them. It might be short-sighted. And as a sales rep, think of how powerful this would be, is if we took this why and we created almost like a golden circle, like Simon talks about in chapter 2, the alternate perspective. He talks about the golden circle, part 2, whatever. The golden circle, right? And it starts with why, how, then goes to what. And when we look at that, and we can take every single thing that we say, okay, let's do this. Why? How are we going to do it? What is it we do? And when we start with why, a lot of the times we ask these questions to our prospects and customers, they don't know. Well, it's just what we need to do. Okay, but why? Like, if we understand the nucleus of the decision everyone's making, it helps us make better decisions. And that leads us right into the 5th book, which is this one, Extreme Ownership. It is a remarkable book. This is my brand new copy. I'm looking forward to reading it and dusting it up like I did these. So this book teaches us all about ownership. Ownership of our choices, ownership of what's happening in our business. If we deal with a customer and things go wrong, it's our fault. And how do we accept ownership? And Jacko walks you through a bunch of different things here, but I want to talk to you about leading down the chain, right? Because as sales reps, a lot of times we're in the position of leadership, and leading down the chain is significant. So, we're talking about leading a team. We're talking about leading your customers, guiding your customers to the end goal, which is to help them achieve their goals, right? Where he says, any good leader is immersed in the planning and execution of tasks, projects, and operations to move the team forward with a strategic goal. So for first thing, if you are not immersed in the planning, in the execution of the task, projects, and operations to lead the team forward in a strategic way, that's your number one thing you got to do, because that's important, okay? Right? Such leaders possess insights into bigger picture and why specific tasks need to be accomplished. The information does not automatically translate to subordinate leaders and the frontline troops. Junior members on the team, the tactical level operators, are highly focused on their specific jobs. Tactical level operators, your ops team, right? They must be in order to accomplish the tactical mission. Absolutely. They do not need the full knowledge and insight of their senior leaders, nor do the senior leaders need the intricate understanding of the tactical level operators' jobs. Still, it is critical that each have an understanding of each other's roles, and it's paramount that senior leaders explain to their junior leaders and troops executing the mission, how their role contributes to big picture success. Now, the reason that is one of my favorite parts of the book is because for me, it stopped me in my tracks and said, wow, my ops team, my marketing team, my managers, the owner, all of these people need to understand how what they do leads to our success, and how can I bring them in? If I go to different departments, how can I sit with different departments and figure out how this leads to my next level success, right? What am I doing with my team? Am I informing my team enough? Do I share with my team enough? Do I share with them too much? Do I need to pull it back? Do I need to give them an over level, or like an overarching view, a 30,000 foot view? Like, all of these questions start coming up. So to me, I'm just so excited to share these with you guys, because I don't typically share this type of stuff. And I really hope you go out and grab these 5 books. They are like the ultimate. I mean, we're not talking sales strategy, because sales strategy you can find in my program. Sales strategy you can find all over the place, right? If you haven't, make sure you check out the links down below, because the links down below actually have links to my program and other stuff that you can get. But nonetheless, get these 5 books. They are essential in really developing and creating that formula, right? The overarching complete nucleus of your sales ecosystem. That's what these are all about. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel over here somewhere. There's gonna be kind of a subscribe button. We're gonna post at it here. Subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell, because you know what? Get notified when I release my videos every week. We are really starting to compound on this YouTube thing, because I think this kind of stuff and just helping y'all understand like what I'm reading, what I'm thinking of it, will really help you. And these books are not the sales books. They're not typical sales books. They're books that change your perspective, and perspective is everything. Until next time, my friends, remember, go out there, make every call educational, crush your sales, and you're only one sales sequence away. Take care.